Imagine you had a secret power, one that let you read anyone's mind, feel their emotions, know their thoughts, and even influence their decisions. Whether it's your boss, a friend, a stranger, or your crush, you could make them move according to your will. This isn't magic. This is psychology, pure psychology. The same tools the world's manipulators, leaders, and influencers use to control people without them even realizing it. And today, in this video, you're going to learn those dark psychological tools that can transform you from an ordinary person into a master influencer. But here's a warning. This is for educational purposes only. Don't use it to harm others, because once you watch this video, you will never see the world the same way again. Trick #5. The revenge trap. Humans have a strange, almost primal craving for the thing they're told they cannot have. It's not just temptation, it's defiance wrapped in curiosity. And if you understand this truth, you can guide people's actions without ever ordering them. Think about it. Someone says, "Don't look over there." Your brain instantly pictures exactly where there is. You feel an itch to look. Not later, not tomorrow, now. Or if I tell you, "Don't read the rest of this section," your mind suddenly wants to read every word. This isn't coincidence. It's psychology. Humans are wired to resist control, but paradoxically, that resistance can be used to steer them exactly where you want. This is the reverse trap, a mental game where you never directly instruct someone, yet they carry out your intention on their own, convinced it was their idea. How it works: our ego has a built-in defense mechanism. It rejects anything that feels like an order, but it also has a fragile pride. It cannot stand being underestimated. The reverse trap exploits both. When you subtly imply you can't or don't, the other person's ego feels challenged. They take the bait, thinking they're proving you wrong, but in reality, they're walking straight into your plan. Example: the friend who won't help. Let's say you want a friend to help you with a project. If you ask directly, "Hey, can you do this for me?" they might dodge it or flat out refuse. But if you say, "Forget it, this is too tricky, I don't think you'd be able to manage it," you've changed the game. Their ego hears, "You think I can't do it." Now they're no longer avoiding the task. They're fighting for the chance to prove you wrong. And just like that, they do exactly what you wanted, willingly. Why it's dangerous: the danger of this tactic is subtle. It doesn't feel like manipulation. The person on the receiving end believes they acted out of free will, but the seed was planted in their mind by you. It can be used to inspire and motivate, but in the wrong hands, it can quietly destroy trust. The master's touch. The real mastery comes from restraint. You don't push. You don't over-explain. You plant a small, seemingly harmless thought, then step back and let their ego do the rest. If you can control someone's impulse to resist, you're not just influencing their actions. You're owning their decision-making process. And when you can do that, you're no longer playing the game. You're writing the rules. Trick #4. The master of choice. People believe they make decisions out of free will. The truth: most of the time, they are only choosing from the menu someone else designed for them. Real power doesn't lie in forcing someone to take an action. It lies in shaping the frame of the choices they see. When you control the options, you control the decision, without ever looking like you're in control. How it works: the human brain is lazy when it comes to decision making. It doesn't like uncertainty, so it clings to whatever choices are presented. If you offer 2 or 3 preset paths, people rarely stop to ask, "Why only these?" They simply pick one. The trick is to make every option lead to the same outcome you want, while letting them feel like it was their choice. This satisfies their ego, keeps resistance low, and makes them far more likely to commit to the decision. Example: getting a friend to go out. You want your friend to go out with you. If you ask, "Do you want to go out?" the easiest answer for them is no. But if you say, "Pizza Hut or Domino's," Their mind shifts. Now the question isn't if they're going out, it's where. They feel like they made the choice, but the truth is, you made it for them the moment you framed the options. The bigger picture politicians do this when they present two very different policies that still lead to the same political agenda. Marketers do it when they offer buy one, get one free, or buy two, get 50% off. Either way, you're buying. This works because people rarely seek absolute freedom. They seek controlled freedom where their ego feels intact, but the boundaries are already set. The one who designs the menu is the one who decides the meal. Trick #3, the guilt trap. Guilt is one of the most underestimated tools of influence. It's invisible, it's silent, and it doesn't push, it pulls. When you push someone with demands, they resist. But when you trigger guilt, they lower their guard and move toward you on their own. How it works? Guilt works because it flips the internal script. Instead of seeing you as the one making demands, they see themselves as the one who failed. Failed to keep a promise. Failed to be a good friend. Failed to live up to their own self-image. And when that self-image cracks, they feel a need to repair it. Not because you told them to, but because their own conscience is now calling them out. Example, the friend who keeps avoiding you. Let's say your friend keeps promising to meet, but never shows up. If you confront them directly with, "You never make time for me," they'll get defensive, maybe even create more distance. But if you say softly, "I get it. If I were important enough, maybe you'd make time," you shift the battlefield entirely. Now it's not about you pushing. It's about them realizing they might have hurt you. The guilt sinks in. They start replaying all the times they canceled, all the ways they've neglected you, and before long, they're calling, apologizing, and making the effort you wanted all along. Why it works? Guilt doesn't attack the surface. It bypasses it and hits the self-concept directly. People can resist orders, but they struggle to live with the idea that they've disappointed someone they care about. You're not forcing them to change. You're holding up an emotional mirror and letting them see the reflection they don't like. And once they see it, they'll change themselves just to feel right again. Trick #2, the emotional hijack. Humans love to believe they are rational creatures, but the truth, we make most of our decisions first with our hearts, and only later do we justify them with our minds. If you can control someone's emotions in the right moment, you don't just influence them, you own their decision-making process. How it works? An emotional hijack happens when a person's mental defenses are bypassed by an overwhelming feeling. Shock, guilt, love, anger, fear, even intense pride. In that heightened state, the logical part of the brain is suppressed, and instinct takes over. In that brief window, the person becomes highly suggestible. They'll agree to things they normally wouldn't, commit to choices they haven't fully thought through, and take actions they might later regret. Because in that moment, emotion feels like truth. The political example: politicians understand this better than anyone. They don't rally voters with charts and data. They create emotional states: fear of losing your security, anger at injustice, pride in your identity. Once you feel that emotion deeply, you're no longer weighing options logically. You're looking for the person who amplifies and validates that feeling. The personal example: think of an argument with someone you love. You might be in the wrong logically, but if they trigger feelings of guilt or longing in you at the right moment, you find yourself apologizing, making promises, or giving in. Because your emotional reality outweighs the logical facts. Why it's so powerful: people rarely remember who gave them the most accurate facts. They remember who made them feel something powerful, and they associate that emotion with the person who triggered it. If you can create the right emotional state, you can guide their choices without a single order. In influence, emotion is the steering wheel. Logic is just the excuse we use to explain where we drove. Trick #1, the power of silence. Psychology calls it the tension gap. That strange discomfort people feel when no one is speaking. But when you learn to control it, Silence becomes one of the most powerful weapons of influence you'll ever have. Why silence works. Words give people something to react to. Silence forces them to react to themselves. In the absence of speech, the human mind begins filling in the blanks with its own fears, insecurities, and assumptions. That's why your mother's shouting might sting, but your father's wordless stare freezes you to the core, because you're the one writing the dialogue in your head, and it's always harsher than reality. Example: forcing a confession. You want your friend to admit something. Don't demand, "Tell me the truth." Simply say, "I know everything," then stop talking. As the silence stretches, their heartbeat speeds up, their breathing changes, and their thoughts spiral. They replay every possible thing you might know, and the guilt builds until they confess, not to relieve you, but to relieve themselves. Example: dominating a confrontation in an argument. Most people try to win by talking louder, faster, and more often. You do the opposite. You look directly into their eyes, keep your face calm, and let the silence hang. Suddenly, their own words start to sound weaker to them. They lose certainty, not because of what you said, but because of what you didn't. The true power silence magnifies your presence. When everyone else is speaking, the quiet one becomes the most intriguing and the most intimidating person in the room. When you speak less, every word you finally choose to say lands with more weight. In influence, the loudest voice isn't the one people obey, it's the one they lean in to hear. By using these tricks wisely, you can deeply influence someone's mind. And if this video has given you knowledge, insight, or a way to move forward in life, make sure to subscribe so we can keep bringing you more. Now it's time for action. Try these tricks as a 7-day challenge and build a more powerful version of yourself. The full roadmap is in the video on your screen. Click it, watch it, and I'll see you there.